Thank you, Ben. Well, I'm not in a very talkative mood because I've just been on so many conversations with refugees, and on the other end of the spectrum. But what is so true about World Unity Week, and then arcing that forward to Peace Week, is that peace through unity is very significant. And there is this very ancient wisdom, ageless wisdom that comes forward, that peace through unity leads to prosperity, to regeneration for all life. And it forms a triangle, a very specific triangle that has spirit at the center. And so this is, again, from ageless wisdom from, eons ago in the Upanishads, etc. But in a very practical sense, having just been on numerous calls with refugees from Haiti and Afghanistan and other things like that, other places like that, is that there's something that they can know is happening that is going to be changing the course of history, that is part of that change in the course of history, so that this illusion of separation, this, from the doctrine of discovery, from this, what has been inherited from that, and just from this understanding that we are all one humanity and that their lives matter, whether they continue to exist or not, because many of them may not be here by the next time we call because they're in such crisis, but that we are holding them in our hearts and our awareness and bringing them forward to their legacy, which will be peace through unity and the understanding that practical actions of peace in a collaborative, conscious, unitive way is the only way forward. And when we take people who have a very deeply spiritual understanding, but become activists in a collective way, that this is the voice of humanity. This is one of the important, wonderful things about Jim Garrison and Richard Buckley and everyone involved with Humanity Rising, is they are an example of all the full spectrum of what humanity is doing in literally every aspect of humanity, and bringing it to the fore of consciousness and concerted action. This is what Unity Earth does. It's what World Unity Week does. But there's something about the aspect of the promise of the UN Charter. And next year will be the 40th anniversary of the first observation of the International Day of Peace, also known as the Universal Peace Day. And so the hopes of all of these people, including some of the children that I've been involved with mentoring, who may not be here by our next call, which just breaks my heart continuously, is that they know that we are carrying on their purpose in life. Because everyone that for the past 40, 50 years that I've mentored, who've been from war zones or other places, especially young people, is they came in knowing their purpose. And every time I ask them, what is your purpose? And they say peace. And peace is not a noun, it's a verb. Peace is an active, conscious state of concerted action that is for the benefit of all beings. And that includes all circles of life. And it's what, the indigenous ones have been telling us for so many thousands and thousands of years. But there's something about this convergence time, and I keep calling Kurt, and now it's you also, Ben, masters of convergence. But there's something about this divine timing, when something occurs in divine timing that brings together an opportunity that is not going to be, if it is missed, it is missed for a very long time. But because humanity has free will, what is so important is that this is the time for the overarching, this is part of what Libra speaks about. And I'm not an esotericist at all or astrologer, but is where we choose the ancient Sanskrit meaning for Libra is, I choose the way that leads between the two great lines of force, which means that consciousness brings spirit and matter together, which also means that you understand that the apparent polarity of opposites, which are real in humanity, but the overarching will to good is that third factor that brings forward the synthesis. And that's what Peace Week is going to be all about. And the presage to that is bringing forward a unified consciousness in World Unity Week with all the different convergences that will be happening during that time, but bringing it into a one-pointed focus for those 8 days. And 8 is a very significant number, by the way. But this will be very, very important, because I think that when we understand our ability to respond, our responsibility for our concerted collective action for the common good of all beings, and hold in understanding all those that are no longer here, but we hold that in our hearts, and all the ancestors, etc. But that we are doing this for future generations. We do not know what the future holds. We cannot be attached to the outcomes. I knew when I was very young that I might never see what my assignment was come to completion in this lifetime. And I had to I've constantly had to live in that reminder. But it also connects with with what Kurt and many of us do connected with the UN, is that the UN is in its 76th year, but what it contains is a template of the divine plan for the unified souls of all nations to come together in synthesis in a synergistic way that changes the course of history from a culture of war, violence, and separation to a culture of an enduring, regenerative culture of peace that benefits all being and has a full spectrum of diversity and unity.